Prior to this evening's group practice, let's explore meditation tips for beginners. Brace yourself, for I'm about to regale you with another tale of junior high. Dun dun dun! By the way, I'm a little loopy. I'm exhausted from a medical appointment today. So I am really exhausted right now. So I'm going to be loopy. That's just how tonight's going to go. So, junior high. One of my classmates had guitar lessons. And because I'm a sapiosexual, I love knowledge, I asked him, hey, would you teach me some stuff? He said, sure. So I showed up at his house with a borrowed guitar. And he just spent an hour showing off. Here, do this. And this boy, had no illusions that this was somehow going to result in my edification, my musical edification. No. This piece of work, his goal was to feel good about himself by making me feel like what he was doing was unattainable. And you know what? That is not unique in the history of human affairs. Where some people are rigid, others are flexible. Or let's try this around. Where some people are loving, some people are fearful. Where some people are laid back, others are controlling. Where some people are egalitarian, others are elitist. Where some are lucid, some are cryptic. Where some are kind, others are cruel. Some are cooperative, others are competitive. So there is a healthy demographic of the human population who is like this. And some of them wear goofy clothes and call themselves meditation teachers. And this minority, well, let me rephrase that. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything is caca-poo-poo. So, including so-called meditation teachers. So if you encounter a meditation teacher who is trying to intimidate you and make you feel like you can't do it, make you feel like you are knee-high to an ant, go find a better teacher. For instance, there are, oh goodness, so many teachers who prance about the countryside insisting that if you can't assume the lotus posture, enlightenment you shall not see. Malarkey. The Buddha never said that. He said sit comfortably in a cross-legged position. That is deliberately vague. Do you know how many cross-legged positions there are? A gob. Choose one that works well for you. I recommend sitting with your shins parallel. You do that not by forcing your knees, but by relaxing your hip sockets. And you can master that in like less than a week. Let's go on. Concentration. Concentration is a highly effective highly effective means of being miserable. Concentration is not about flexibility. Concentration is not about being laid back. Au contraire, mon ami. Concentration is about being rigid, and it's about being controlling. It's about saying, I choose to think about this, and everything else can fuck off. For those of you who are children who are watching, we use those words in a sentence, so they're A-okay. So when we coerce our brain to focus on one thing and one thing only, the part of our brain that lights up is the underbrain, the portion of the underbrain that dangles like a uvula, only it's called the amygdala It is the seat of fear and all of our aggression. And it's our Dr. Jekyll. I'm sorry, our Mr. Hyde. Our Mr. Hyde lights up. We don't want our Mr. Hyde lighting up. We don't need any help being bastards. And yet, that's what happens. So, what is the opposite of concentration? Whoops, I made a boo-boo, didn't I? I really did. Okay, so let's do the old switcheroo here. Let's go un, deux, trois. Paste. 1, 2, 3. Cut. And paste. Okay. So, what is the opposite of concentration? Us big kids call it mindfulness. What's mindfulness? Is that just a synonym? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Where concentration is rigid and controlling, and mindfulness is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. Where concentration is fabricated and forced, mindfulness is an automatic feature of our sympathetic nervous system, which we access effortlessly during each inhalation. Therefore, during each inhalation, it can be hunky-dory to silently and mentally recite, notice this. Well, that's Jim Dandy, you might say, or at least the uncool corner of your brain might be saying that. But you can't forever breathe in, you'll pop, frighten the dog, and annoy the cat. So, what are we to do if we can't forever breathe in? Well, when we breathe out, that's our opportunity to practice meditation. Not repression, but meditation. Whatever we notice when we breathed in, whether it be a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent, or the like, whether it be an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining, we meditate upon it, but what does that entail? Simple. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we gain access to the wonders, I tell you, of our autonomic nervous system, which has evolved for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Therefore, it is perfectly appropriate during our exhalation to silently and mentally recite relaxing. To really get into it melodramatically, relaxing. You know, like some B squad hypnotist after a full meal, trying to put someone under without falling asleep themselves. And so there you have it. The silent and mental recitation of notice this as you breathe in. The silent and mental recitation of relaxing as you breathe out. And that's it. That's the path of liberation. So we're going to deconstruct a very famous metaphor that was mistaken for a literal statement by Zen Master Dogen, who said, sitting is enlightenment. I would tell you, sitting is liberation. Liberation from the tyranny of our most primal survival instincts. Those survival instincts are great for protecting us against a charging grizzly bear or a really annoyed honey badger. But they're terrible at giving us a fulfilling life. Therefore, they make great tools, but terrible taskmasters. And the liberation the Buddha offers us is not liberation from the experience of our, or the presence of our survival drives, but from their tyranny. And so the simple act of noticing and relaxing in harmony with inhalation and exhalation means we can't go into a destructive autopilot. You can't. I know. I've tried. You can't relax and lose your temper simultaneously. You can't relax and colonize another country while you're relaxing. We're not wired for it. It's kind of like it's like asking Cheech and Chong to commit a home invasion between bong loads. The worst they could do is stagger in and make questionable snacks for strangers. That's it. So there you have it. Meditation demystified. Elitism. We've taken the brick of truth and lovingly lobbed it through the plate glass window of malarkey. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you in approximately 90 seconds. But first, how's about a spot of housekeeping? This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible by the generosity of viewers just like you through Patreon. If you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as good old Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the non-corporeal Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Now, here's a bit of really good news. If at any time during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. But, where is that? If you're using a laptop or a desktop, that chat window should be on the right-hand side of your screen. However, if you're using a smartphone, it's most likely going to be below the video. If you're using it horizontally, you're making me look bad. If you're using it horizontally, you can't access it. You can only access it vertically. Whew. All right then. Together as a team, let us chant the Monday night excerpt or selection from Garab Dorje's Spaciousness of Vajrasattva. Many years ago, a roommate commented. He said, "Boy, when you get tired, you get as slap happy as I did after a lot of beer. Your slap happiness is more affordable than mine ever was." So together, let's chant. Supreme wisdom is difficult to realize except by the way of wisdom itself. By the way, if anything seems mysterious to you, type an explicit question and I'll be glad to answer it. Dependence on others is merely notional, since bliss actually arises naturally from within. In other words, contrary to the ravings of patriarchy, we don't need a guru. Instructions are helpful, an example is helpful. We don't need a guru. We don't need someone to worship and obey and empty our wallets for. Let's continue. And yet the miraculous is not beyond a recognition, due to intuitive insight into the natural state. Our innate capacities and spiritual powers come to the full naturality from within our own inner depths. All of us want to be magical. All of us want to be Gandalf the Grey, or the Galadriel the Golden. Yeah, that's it. Or some such thing. We all want that. It's just a question of whether we're honest with ourselves. So we all want to be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, just like Mary Poppins. And yet, we find it difficult. When it comes to magic, if there was a trinity of magic, according to the ancient Indians, it would be Prana, Akasha, and Damak, or Dimak, which could translate as power. Oh, it relates to the Chinese Trinity as expressed by Ancestor Wu, which is Jing, Qi, and Shen, or body, energy, and thought. And of those three, we find energy most lacking. And so sometimes we mortgage away our autonomy and pledge fealty to a nun or a monk and hope that they teach us the secrets of the universe. But what we're being taught here is all the power we need for protection and for acquisition is latent within us. It is innate within us. And here's it. It comes to the fore naturally from our own inner depths. The secret to Dzogchen meditation is not visualization, it's not mantras, it's not austerities, it's not ritual. Here's how it works. When we breathe in, we access the mindfulness that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. And as we sit in meditation, maybe not instantly, but within our sitting session, aversions will come to the surface that we desire protection from. Desires breach the surface of our awareness that we desire the acquisition of. The very act of noticing those aversions and desires and then relaxing into them harnesses our latent powers and capacities effortlessly, therefore giving us the protection and acquisition we desire in a manner that some Dzogchen Lamas describe as the spontaneous fulfillment of desires. Harken back to the halcyon days of the 90s, when we saw Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves in the wonderfully disturbing movie The Devil's Advocate. Because if you love soliloquies, then that's the movie for you. In one of the aforementioned soliloquies, Al Pacino's character likens the human capacity of desire to the focusing of ambient light into a laser beam. We don't need to force that. It happens naturally. It happens spontaneously. By noticing and releasing in harmony with the two facets of our autonomic nervous system. The protection and acquisition we require, take care of ourselves. Now, do you remember as a child watching cartoons, the Warner Brother cartoons with Mirror Melodies? Remember the one with Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny and a king who looked suspiciously like Charles Lawton and who kept demanding, Where's my Hassenpfeffer? We can be like that, can't we? In our little petulance, we can stomp our little feet and say, I want what I want, when I want it, for as long as I want it, and not a minute more. So, despite that petulant drive, we can receive the protection and acquisition we require in the most wonderful way. No faith is required. Remember, faith is a rigidity. Rigidity is no fun. Except anatomically in the bedroom. But the rest of the time, not so much fun. So, let's continue. Real meditation is effortless letting go in the true condition. This true condition never appears to us as something which can be seen. Striving to grasp it, we prevent the recognition of its true nature. Real meditation is effortless letting go. If it's difficult, in the words of Bugs Bunny, from a different cartoon, we've taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque. So this true condition is one of the many, did I mention many synonyms for emptiness? And emptiness only makes sense as a metaphor, not as a literal thing. Entire lives have been squandered treating metaphors as literal statements. Let's not do that. So this elusive emptiness, this true condition, is not something that submits to our controlling tendencies, our yang tendencies, our patriarchal tendencies, the tendencies we see exhibited by the Dark Emperor in the original trilogy of Star Wars. Remember Princess Leia's taunt in Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. The more you tighten your grasp, the more the systems will slip through your fingers. Likening to a child's experimentation with sand at the beach. So the path of Darth Sidious is not the path of the Buddha. The path of the Buddha is remarkably similar to that of Qui-Gon Jinn, being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. So, the path of realization of emptiness comes from being laid back and flexible. Nor can the supreme secrecy of the primal continuum be revealed by hearing about it, nor can words reveal its nature even in the barest measure. Think for a moment of your favorite dessert. Now tell someone what it tastes like without using a simile. You can't. So, as fun as it is to chant together and discuss the finer points of meditation, at a certain point we need to sit impeccably upon a meditation cushion on the floor and actually do it. Having said that, come, let us turn the page. If you've just joined me and my silly-ass antics tonight because I'm loopy with exhaustion, and you have a question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. We're going to begin by chanting very concise recitations of bodhicitta and refuge with the intention of strengthening the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. Together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. Okay, we've already gone through the meditation instructions. Let's dig in. I check for questions approximately once every 8 or 9 minutes. Welcome to this evening's live stream, a group practice. If at any point you have any questions about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in the chat window. I check for questions approximately once every 8 or 9 minutes. In brief, as we breathe in, we can vulnerably perceive whatever comes up as silently and mentally we recite the words. Notice this. And as we exhale, we can physically relax and mentally release as silently and mentally we recite, relaxing. And so we're silently and mentally reciting. Notice this as we breathe in, and silently and mentally reciting, relaxing as we breathe out. We find ourselves traversing a path of mindfulness and meditation. My friends, this is going to have to be a shorter meditation. Let's seal this evening's practice with a bit of the old chanting. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon, either by capturing the QR code using the camera of your phone, or by merely scrolling down and clicking the appropriate link in the description area below the video. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning lesson and meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me,